Let me ask you about your dad. He was a noble
Oh,
actor, I guess, during the studio system era and director during the heyday of 1960s television. What did he teach you about the business that you still follow to this day? Or did he teach you anything?
well, well, first of all, my dad, it was the great man. I loved him so dearly.
Uh,
He was the history of Hollywood. He
yeah.
was a he is his mother in Cleveland was the campaign manager for Eugene Debs' presidential campaign. And she uprooted this working family. My grandfather was a tailor and took him to Hollywood because there was a new business starting. Took my dad around at 10, 11 years old and got him a job co-starring with Mary Pickford in a movie. And then he had the ups and downs of Hollywood and through oh God, the stories were hilarious. He became Cecil B. DeMille's assistant director before the Directors Guild existed. Then he became all the top new directors, assistant director in Paramount. Billy Wilder, he was his for his first film,
Wow.
and then television came in, and he got a chance to direct, and he became a sitcom director basically.
Yeah.
Although he
Yeah.
did some Playhouse '90s, but the thing he movie I didn't want to be in the movie. I didn't have. There was just my reality. It was my whole reality. I mean, somewhere there's photographs of me sitting on Hope and Crosby's lap as a 3, 4, 5-year-old kid,
Crazy.
and going in sound stages were the greatest experiences. They were cold, the walls were padded. I figured this is home, and you go in this cavernous thing, and there's a bright light shining on something. You walk up close to it, and they're shooting a teacup or something, and you go, "This is it." But Dad's number one contribution to me was he took us to great movies, and these were film noir before it had a label, were what we usually saw, and I liked the artificial part of them that made them seem real, which was the look, the contrast, the long shadows, the things that don't happen in real life but make them seem more real. And he took us to the Ealing Studios comedies, which were the greatest.
Let's. I went back to. I was thinking. I saw all your movies during the '80s and '90s because I was a big fan, and I went back and watched Trouble in Mind again. Speaking of noir, and interestingly enough, the ending is very similar to Preface as your camera pans into the universe at the end. But anyway,
Well, breakfast trouble. People thought that was a happy ending, and I said, "Yeah, either that or he's dead," which was sort of the intent.
yeah.
Um,
So we could just finish with this then. Give me an idea of Chris Christopherson and what inspired you to cast Divine in a non drag role.
Quickly in 30 seconds,
Yes.
Chris. Chris was the power of art and the soul of every poet. And you go back and read his songs, and they're pretty, like Keith Carradine says, guru. But he's the real thing, and I wanted a legend to play a legend. And I'd work with him on songwriters, so I knew him. And Divine set the tone. That's what I wanted for the film. And he had I told Divine he was playing the president, and he said, "Well, I got the tuxedo for Sydney Greenstreet. Is that close enough?" I said, "You bet." He was terrific. I told Bruce in Breakfast of Champions when we were starting to talk about it, I said, in my mind, this guy is every politician who ever ran in America. I mean,
Sure.
he's full of shit. He believes his own lies. He's the most famous and successful guy. And yet when he starts to question his own identity, his own thought process, he has no answers because there's nobody home. He hasn't constructed an inner life. And so he has to go look for elsewhere for it. And of course, he gets the guy who speaks nonsense to tell him the truth and misinterprets it.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2025.